Going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Horror. This is Ethan Horror, and today we are going to be doing a video that I have been wanting to do for a while, and basically just because I wanted to watch these movies, my Elizabeth Olsen movie ranking. Now, if you don't know why I'm doing this, it's because she's my favorite actor of all time. I think she is amazing, and she plays my favorite character ever. If you can't tell by the set who that is, you might need to get your eyes checked. But yeah, I think she's incredible. Pretty much everything that she's been in I like, except for a couple I either like or love. I've seen obviously the Marvel ones and then a handful of other ones, but I was wanting to watch all of them, and so I made a list on Letterboxd, 19 movies, and I went through and I watched them all 19, and we're gonna be ranking them from best to worst. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. It's what I do on this channel. I do a lot of rankings, so let's get right into it.
Here's Johnny.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Coming in at number 19, the bottom two, I'd say, are the only ones I don't really like. In Secret. It's a drama where, Elizabeth Olsen, it's back in, like, the 70s, I think, I don't know, is forced to marry her half-brother, who is, Tom Felton, and she doesn't want to marry him. Like, she loves him, but she doesn't want to marry him. She wants to marry Oscar Isaac. I don't know his name either. There's a lot of movies. I had to remember a lot of character names. And the only ones I remembered were Lizzie's character names. So she's Therese in this one. She doesn't want to marry him, but she ends up marrying him anyway. So what she does is she has an affair with Oscar Isaac. And, you know, Oscar Isaac, eventually, they decide, all right, let's get married. And they, spoiler alert, kill Tom Felton by drowning him. And then they get married, but now they're fighting. That's the whole movie. And then at the end, they both kill themselves. So, and the other movie I don't really like is I Saw the Light. This one, it's based on a true story. It's, forgot his name, Hank, I think. I don't remember his last name, Hank. It's a singer-songwriter who died really young. You know, I don't know how this guy was in real life, but if the movie portrayed him accurately, he's kind of a jerk. Like, he's likable at some times, very unlikable at other times, and Elizabeth Olsen plays his wife, and he's kind of a jerk to her. Like, he's a jerk to her, and then his mom just, for some reason, hates Elizabeth Olsen, who is, what's her name in this? Audrey. She hates Audrey for some reason. I'm not quite sure. I think it's because Audrey divorced her last husband. I don't know why they're telling us this story. They're making a movie about this story if this guy's a jerk. Because it's not like a redemption arc. He's just a jerk, and then he dies. Like, I don't want to be insensitive, because, like, the way this movie portrays him, he's likable, and then he's not, and then he is again, and then he's not. Like, number 17. This is where I start to get into movies that I at least enjoy. Liberal arts. This movie is not bad. It's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a feel-good movie. It kind of seems like it is, but at some points it's kind of depressing. And Elizabeth Olsen isn't even the main character. It's again focused on a guy. I don't remember his name. at the moment. It's about a unlikely romance. It's like she's like 19 and he's in his 30s. So it's weird. It's you kind of feel off put by it, and so does he. But she actually plays a character named Elizabeth. Or Zibby. They call her Zibby. Her name is Elizabeth in the movie though. Zibby, again, one of my favorite characters. I love when they're interacting as like a couple, and I love everything about that. That was like my favorite part of the movie. And Zac Efron's in this movie. I really like him in this. He's hilarious, and I just don't find the main character super interesting. I would have preferred if it was from Elizabeth or Zibby's perspective, because her character seems a little bit more interesting than this guy. Neither of them are very interesting, but they're all right. And then there is this whole part in the middle where Zibby is reading Twilight. They don't say it. They can't say it. They don't. They just say a teen vampire romance thing. Like, they never say the name, but you can tell it's Twilight. So she's reading Twilight, or she read Twilight, and he's like, why would you read that? And then he gets really mad, and then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna read it, and we're gonna talk about it. And then he reads it, and then, like, he starts turning into, like, a book critic, and he's like, why would you read something that isn't good? And then she's like, I don't need to read something because it's good. I can read it because it makes me happy. And then they drop that. Like, that's literally like one scene. And I thought that was going to be like, do whatever makes you happy, not what's practical. No. They just drop it. And then they go back to the story that isn't very interesting. Number 16, Kill Your Darlings. Now, this is a very well-made movie. It's very well acted. It's strong acted. Harry Potter in the leading role. Daniel Radcliffe. Elizabeth Olsen has little to nothing to do in this movie. She is simply the wife of one of the characters. And again, her husband is an absolute jerk. The worst, probably the worst husband of all of these movies is this guy. But honestly, Elizabeth Olsen puts in a fantastic performance in this one. One of the best performances she's ever put in. And she's not in it for that much. Every scene she gets, she acts so well. And it's usually her getting mad at her husband. But it's about these two main characters, these two guys. They're in love. They're in love. And Daniel Radcliffe. So Daniel Radcliffe's the main character, and then his boyfriend, I forgot his name, has an ex, and the ex is still obsessed with him. And eventually he kills his ex. Like, he kills him off. And Daniel Radcliffe is now, and then he gets arrested for it. He gets arrested for it. And then now Daniel Radcliffe has to, like, do I want to go to bat for him? Because he eventually learns, like, he did murder him. Does he love him that much? And he eventually decides to not. But I think that goes well with the theme, that, like, he chose to not. Because Kill Your Darlings is the name of the movie, and it's not literally, like, kill the people you love. It's a writing term. Kill Your Darlings, like, just because you spent a bunch of time writing something doesn't mean it all stays. Like, you have to cut some of it out, so it's killing your darlings because you love that, like, you really like this part, but if it doesn't fit, then you have to cut it out. Number 15, I have Kodachrome. Now, this one's low just because it's very okay. It is like a baseline good movie. It's a good movie, but nothing better. Like, all of the other ones I'd say are great movies. Movies that I love. It's just a good movie. Like, I'd watch it again, I guess, if I was watching, like, with, like, a friend, but I don't think I'd ever sit down and be like, yeah, I want to rewatch Kodachrome. It's not, again, she's not the main character, and she is absent for a lot of the movie, but it's about this guy who's played by, Ted Lasso, forgot his actor's name, and he has had a falling out with his dad. He doesn't really care about his dad anymore, and then Elizabeth shows up. Elizabeth Olsen. What's her character's name so I can... Zoe. She plays two characters named Zoe. So Zoe shows up, and she is his dad's nurse. And she says, your dad has cancer and he's going to die. And he basically says, I don't care. But eventually he does, eventually agree to go on this road trip with him to get the final batch of Kodachrome film processed and turned into actual film. Because they're like, every other store stopped except for this one store that is going to do it. And it's basically the dad and the son fighting the entire movie, and they're both such big... But I think they both have a good turnaround. They both eventually make up, and I like that character story, that character arc with them. And he eventually falls in love with Zoe. But then Zoe leaves. She leaves, like, they went on a road trip, and she leaves halfway through, and, I like that part, and I did write in my notes that, so, I obviously thought she was the best part of the movie, but I do like everything else that happens, and eventually they do get the Kodachrome finished, because the dad is a photographer, and he takes pictures, he gets money off of it, and it was like, he wants this to be his last batch of Kodachrome, and he does. We go all the way, and he gets it processed, but he dies before the film is processed. Like, he gets it there, but then he dies, unfortunately, before it's processed. So then it leaves the son with this box of Kodachrome film. And, he's mad at his dad because he was never around. He never really cared about him when he was younger. He was just kind of a bad dad. So he puts these Kodachrome cartridges into the little, displayer. I don't know film terms. And he looks through the photos, and it's pictures of him when he was younger, and his dad. And I think that's a really sweet ending. This is a feel-good movie, for sure. And in the end, while he's looking through the pictures, Zoe comes back. So 14 very good girls. I had zero faith going into this movie. Absolutely zero. But I don't. I really enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it. It's a romance drama. And again, Elizabeth Olsen isn't the main character. Her character, Jerry, her character, definitely my favorite character in the movie, because the main character is the worst. Literally, for my notes for this movie, look what I wrote. That's all I wrote for that movie, besides Elizabeth Olsen's character name. So it's about this. So, Jerry has a crush on this guy that they met. He's like an ice cream vendor. She has a crush on him, and she's trying to get with him. And the main character, I need to figure out her name, because I'm going to be talking about her a lot. Lily. Lily knows this. Lily is well aware that Elizabeth Olsen likes this guy. What does she do? She gets with him. First one that I was like, oh my god, that's kind of a jerk move. And when she does, then now Jerry is talking to her about oh, do I ask him? What do I do? Do I invite him out? She doesn't say a thing about her and him being together, because they eventually start dating, and she doesn't say a thing to Jerry. Not a word. Never even says anything throughout the entire movie. Never admits to it. And then halfway through the movie, Jerry's dad dies, and she's going through something, and she's like, and then while she's crying, she's like, I just wish that David is the name of the guy. David would walk through the door and give me a hug or something. Do you know what she does? Do you know what she does? She asks her boyfriend. She's trying to be nice to Jerry. She's at least trying now, but what she does is she sends David to Jerry to cheer her up. Even though she's well aware that they're dating, he's loyal, and, like, she just wanted him to go and sit with her. But, of course, Jerry is like, I love you, and then, like, but he does say, like, I'm in love with someone else. But Jerry doesn't assume it's her best friend who has known that, like, she is such a jerk the entire movie. It sucks. It sucks so bad. But and then at the end, it eventually, like, Jerry sees Lily kissing David, and she gets really mad, of course, and doesn't want to talk to her ever again. But then eventually at the end, they get over it and make up, and I like that. I don't like it when movies end really sadly. Number 13. Now we're at movies that I, like, significantly love. Like, I would rewatch any of these and be excited. I don't have notes for this one, so we're going free from the brain. Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding. It's about a mom. She's the daughter to the mom. The mom is the mom in Get Out. That's who plays her. She has had a falling out with her mom. Kind of like in Kodachrome, but just kind of first gender. She's had a falling out with her mom because her mom tried to sell weed to somebody at her wedding. So that's weird. But then eventually her grandma, or Elizabeth Olsen's grandma, she's Zoe in this one. Yeah, Zoe in this one as well. Grandma wants to see the kids, and she wants to talk to her daughter. So they all come over and they stay at their house for the week because the mom and the dad are getting a divorce. They're not happy together. So they go over to the mom's house, and the mom is like a massive hippie. Like, I'm not talking crap about hippies. I'm just saying she is a huge hippie. Protests, like, peace. That's why it's peace, love, and misunderstanding. Peace and love. Kind of like the, like, stereotypical hippie thing. And she, grows weed. she does. And they don't really make up until the end. And I like that, because it feels like it all comes together because of these people that they meet along the way. And for the mom, it is Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays her love interest, and they go skinny dipping together. And then Zoe's love interest, that's the only thing that I don't like, is their relationship. He is a meat packer, or a butcher. He's a butcher. And Zoe is like a very vegetarian. She's vegetarian. And she's very, like, loves all animals. And, they have a few fights about, like, he kills animals, she loves animals. And that's why I don't get, like, why they get back together. But then at the end, she's like, he does it so that it feels right for him. But, like, it just feels abrupt, so I didn't really like that. And her character isn't really the best in this one either. Number 11, this one kind of dropped. It would have probably been higher. Like, right after I watched it, I absolutely loved it, and then it kind of dropped a little bit. Number 11 is Ingrid Goes West. Aubrey Plaza is the main character in this one, and she plays Ingrid. And honestly, every every actor in this puts in a fantastic performance. But basically what it's about Ingrid, who she watches, like, Instagram models or people on Instagram, and she just becomes obsessed with them, and she stalks them, and then she just wants to be them. And she finds, what's her name? Taylor Sloan, who is Elizabeth Olsen's character, and she moves to her town, and you just start to see all these, like, creepy things. She, like, starts to dress like her. She buys the same bag, the same books, and then eventually she kidnaps Taylor's dog and basically waits for them to put up missing posters, and then calls the number on them so that they can meet up. And then they become friends eventually, but I think you're supposed to not like Taylor. Well, I think you are not supposed to like Taylor. That's why it's weird that she's obsessed with her, because Taylor is not a great person, and it's eventually revealed like she was a very good person and she changed because of, you know, Instagram and everything. Ingrid is trying so hard to be Taylor that Taylor eventually says like, why are you trying to be someone you're not? And then Ingrid replies with, I could say the same to you pretty much, because like her husband, Taylor's husband, told her everything like she's acting completely different now. And I actually really like her husband, one of my favorite characters in the movie, actually probably my favorite character in the movie. Ingrid is interesting, but she's creepy. So yeah, but then eventually, you know, that sad ending where she tries to kill herself, but she doesn't because her nice boyfriend, played by Ice Cube's son, who's obsessed with Batman, comes in and saves the day. And then you get a happy ending with her, and she creates this trend on Instagram because she like live streamed her trying to kill herself, and she said, and it was like hashtag Ingrid or whatever. I don't remember what the hashtag was, and it ends with Taylor saying the hashtag because it's like a bunch of people saying the hashtag because the hashtag blew up. And then, like, the hashtag means, like, you need to stop being who you are online and be yourself and show what you are. And it ends with Taylor saying the hashtag. So, she changed. And that's what, at least what I took away from it. Some people probably would say otherwise, but I'm pretty sure the last person who says it is Elizabeth Olsen. And that, for me, was the perfect wrap-up to this movie. And number 12, it killed me to put this one this low but, like, I can't put it any higher. Number 12, Red Lights. Wow, Cillian Murphy is just making all the movies that I love. First off, Cillian Murphy is amazing in this movie, and I think it's Cillian. I'm not sure, so if it's Cillian, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say Cillian. It's about Sigourney Weaver and Cillian Murphy, who are, like, paranormal investigators, but they're basically just trying to prove that everything is fake because, like, it's not real. None of the magic is real. So it's basically them, like, going around proving people wrong until they get to this one guy, Robert De Niro. It's not actually Robert De Niro, but, like, you get what I mean. He's played by Robert De Niro. They need to investigate him because he's, like, one of the most world-renowned magicians, and he's coming out of retirement. So Cillian Murphy wants to investigate him, but Sigourney Weaver's terrified of him. But then they do. They eventually investigate him, and, like, he's kind of haunting Cillian because, like, but I think it's just his own guilt because in the end, it is proved that he's a fake. He's not actually a magician or has, like, powers. But do you know what it is? This is the most wild twist out of all these movies. It's revealed that Cillian does. That's why he knew that he didn't. Number 10, Godzilla. Yes, she is in Godzilla, the one from 2014. She is nowhere near any of the main characters. She's just kind of a side character. Ellie Brody. She plays Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife. I really like Ellie Brody, the character, so she's great, but she's not in it very much. She's just kind of in the beginning and in the end. But it is not an amazing Godzilla movie. I did really like it. I'd still say like maybe 4.5 stars. It has Bryan Cranston in it as well. It infamously dies in the first act, which is, why would you do that? Especially with like how big the character is, and you just kill him off. But it's fine. That's probably like one of my main complaints for the movie. Number 9, Avengers Age of Ultron. A lot of people hate this movie. A lot of people hate Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't know why. Or not hate. They dislike it. I get it. It's not as good as the first Avengers movie. But they try new things. They try to make it better. They try to improve. I notice that every single time. And, you know, I have a soft spot for it because it is, you know, a movie that introduced her. Oh, I didn't mention that. I chose to leave off Captain America the Winter Soldier and How the West Was Fun. Neither of those movies are on the list because she's only cameos in that. And she has, between the two movies, has one line. And she's not a part of it at all. So, they're not on the list. But Silent House. Now, if you've heard me talk about this movie on this channel before, you'll know I absolutely adore this movie. I love Silent House so much. But it's number 8. That's how much I love these movies, is that it's number 8 on this list. It's her first movie. It's a horror movie. It's the only horror movie on the list. So, if you guys are saying, oh, your name's Ethan Horror, why are you not doing horror movies? I am. There's one. Number 7. This one's controversial, and I don't know why, because, disclaimer, number 7 is Oldboy, and it's the 2013 remake. Disclaimer, I've never seen the original Oldboy from 2003. Never seen it. I know the only thing I know about it is the plot synopsis that it says on Letterboxd. It says, it just says, like, a guy was trapped in a cell for 15 years and breaks out and tries to hunt down the people. That's pretty much what it says in this plot synopsis too, except it's 20 years. I don't understand why this movie's hated. I mean, I get it. It's an American remake of, like, a Japanese film. I mean, in this movie, Elizabeth Olsen probably puts in one of my favorite performances as her character, Mary Sebastian. She's not actually Mary Sebastian, but she is great in this movie. She is so sweet. She's so nice. I love her character in this. And, Josh Brolin is the main character, and he gets trapped in this cell for 20 years. He's in here for 20 years, so he is forced to not watch his daughter grow up. He never gets to know his daughter, and then he's released. But he is framed for his ex-wife's murder. So, then he's released. He's released into the wild. He meets Mary Sebastian, and they fall in love. And then, if you guys know the ending twist, that was a mistake. Number 6, Captain America Civil War. This is why I didn't want to include Avengers Endgame, because I knew that they were just going to dominate the list. The MCU was just going to dominate it. Captain America Civil War is going to be number 6. This one's a top 25 movie of all time for me. I really love this movie. I think it's possibly the greatest second greatest non-Avengers MCU movie. It's not really a solo movie because pretty much everyone else is in it. But I love Wanda in this movie. She is absolutely amazing. And she's got some good lines in this. And then I like Zemo as a villain. I think Zemo is a very good villain because he's not doing anything, really. He's just pulling the strings from inside, getting the Avengers to fight each other, and it leads to one of the best scenes in all of Marvel in that airport fight scene. That is just candy. Like, that is one of the best scenes ever. I love it. Number 5. It might go down a little bit, I'm going to be honest. This is the most recent one I watched. I just got done watching it a couple hours ago, actually. Marcy May, Marlene. Yeah, it's a very long title. It's very hard to remember. This is my 3rd take I've recorded because I messed up the name 3 times. So, coming in at number 5, we have Marcy, Mary, Mary, no, it's not, oh my Martha, Mary, May, no, it's Marcy, God. It's about this girl who was in a cult. She lives with this cult for a few years and is not able to call her sister, and eventually she does call her, and then her sister picks her up, and it's been so long since she's been in society that she, like, forgets everything, and she's still so used to the life with the cult. So, she does all these, like, things that would be, like, she sits on the kitchen counter and puts her legs up on it, and she doesn't understand that you can swim with clothes on, and, like, all these things that, like, she's having trouble fitting back into society. But it's really good, and her, like, fighting with her sister, the husband is very against her staying with them. Coming in at number 4, we have Avengers Endgame. This is the one I didn't want to include, because I knew it would get in the top 5. I knew it would. It would knock one of these movies out. And that sucks, but I chose to include it, so it's only my fault. So if you don't think it should be included because it's more of a cameo, blame me. But it's Avengers Endgame. Like, I was so hyped for this movie when it came out. I went and saw it in theaters. It was incredible. I loved every minute of it, and that final fight scene is easily the best part of the movie. That final fight with Thanos, and Elizabeth Olsen gets an incredible scene in there as well when she faces off against him. So, I mean, it's Avengers Endgame. Do I really need to talk about it? Coming in at number 3. I have talked about this movie before on my channel. Wind River. Wind River is another thriller, like a cop story. Not like cop story. They're just trying to figure out this murder. I guess Elizabeth Olsen is a cop. She's FBI. But her name is Jane in this, and she is with Jeremy Renner, and they're trying to solve the case of this murder that happened. They believe it's a murder or a death that happened outside in the middle of the snow near where Jeremy Renner lives. His character, not the actor, obviously, where he lives, and it's just them trying to figure it out, and eventually they figure it out. It's very basic, but like the story and the themes that it goes through are very, very deep and very good. Jeremy Renner puts in an incredible performance. So does Elizabeth Olsen. They both should have been nominated for something for this movie. It's a great movie. And yeah, my top 2 are Marvel movies. Number 2 is Avengers Infinity War. This is a top 5 movie for me, so we're just building up. It was like the movie that got me back in Marvel because it kind of died. My love for it kind of died out after Civil War, which was the last one I really loved. But I do like the other movies in between. I just didn't watch a lot of them. I just kind of stopped watching them. And this movie brought me back. It is incredible. The best Avengers movie by far. And it has one of the best endings to any Marvel movie. The best villain. Second best villain. But my number 1 is my number 1 movie ever. This is my favorite movie of all time, guys. Let's not mess around. It's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I've talked about this movie multiple times. It's my favorite movie ever. I understand why people don't like it. I understand that people don't like it. I understand that it's probably not very good, but I love this movie. It's a horror action fantasy movie. My 3 favorite things. And then you throw my favorite character of all time in the movie as the villain. Didn't expect that, but good God, Elizabeth Olsen is incredible in this movie. Every scene. She's amazing in this movie. She puts in the best performance I think she's ever put in this movie, which is why it's a crime that she wasn't nominated for an Oscar. This is the one movie that I think she should have at least got a nomination. Not saying she should have won, but I think she should have gotten a nomination for this or Marcy May, Marlene. But this video took a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I had to watch all of these movies, so please, if you did enjoy, hit like and subscribe. And if you really enjoyed and want to see more videos from me, you can go down to my channel, click on it. I'm sure there'll be another video in there that you'll enjoy, but otherwise, hit the bell so you're notified when I post brand new videos. Yeah, look out for the character ranking next, and till next time, I'm Ethan Horror. This has been Ethan Horror. See ya.